for the world's poorest if one becomes available.
Now the news in detail. President Akufo-Addo has inspected ongoing works at the site of the Axim Sea Defence Wall and the Axim landing site as part of his tour of the Western region.
These projects fulfill a promise made by the president when he campaigned for power in 2016.
In September 2018, President Akufo-Addo cut the sod for work to start on the Axim Sea Defence Wall to fulfill a pledge he made to the people of Axim in the run-up to the 2016 general elections. The contractor, Makam Plant Hire, is expected to complete the project in 4 years' time. However, construction work is ahead of schedule. The sea defence wall is now 85% complete, with 4.2 kilometers of the 5-kilometer wall completed. Satisfied with the pace and quality of work done so far, the President commended MPH for the flawless execution of the project and urged them to continue in the spirit that led to the near completion of the sea defence wall ahead of schedule.
What are we looking at in terms of completion?
The breakwater should be complete probably in November. The building works, which will be starting in September, are likely to be February, March next year.
This is excellent.
A few meters away from the site, President Akufo-Addo also inspected progress of work on the Axim Fishing Port and Landing Site project, a project which 2nd August 2019. China Harbour Engineering Company said overall progress about 80%, including the breakwater, which is sufficiently sheltered against the waves. According to the project coordinator, construction of the revetment breakwater is ongoing and almost in its final stage. The construction of these aspects of the project is set to be completed in September 2020. Reclamation is 30% complete, with the fabrication of concrete blocks to erect the key walls set to be completed in November. January 2021 being the completion date for the underwater quay wall, the project coordinator assured President Akufo-Addo that the Axim Fishing Port and Landing Site project will be completed in September 2021. The Minister for Transport, Mr. Kweku Foresiama, said 9 buildings will be constructed on the site, including an administration building, fish market, net mending hall, ice making plant, workshop lodge, fuel depot, daycare, place of convenience, and a power station.
The President Akufo-Addo has cast the sword for the construction of a 100-bed district hospital for Shama in the Shama district of the Western region. The completed facility will have an accident and emergency unit, 100-seater waiting area, 6-bed ICU, diagnostic scan including CT scan, X-ray and ultrasound, 30-bed mortuary, pharmacy, staff accommodation and a community play area. At Adeba, President Akufo-Addo said his administration prioritizes easy access to health delivery services for all in line with the target of universal health coverage. He says funding for the €32 million project has already been secured for work to be completed on schedule. The president appealed to the people to retain his government in power in December.
District hospitals now usually CT scan and CAT equipment at district hospitals. Now Shama for the CT scan is going to be part of the equipment of the Shama District Hospital. The Baba Sergana for said you are Mashasia Semeyano. Our name who said Mayano. The Bible says, what the Mamma quiet, Namin Twasso. For Nana.
The Minister for Health, Mr. Kwekwajima Menu, said the government is working to ensure the completion of some abandoned and uncompleted health infrastructure projects across the country. He reminded Ghanaians that COVID-19 is real and that all should follow the safety protocols. The acting president of the Shama Traditional Council commended the government for the project and prayed for its speedy completion.
The Vice President, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, on Tuesday gave a detailed inventory of the government's infrastructure projects in the last 3.5 years.
By his study, the Akufo-Addo-led government has initiated 17,334 projects across the board in all sectors. 8,746 of these projects have been completed and 8,746 of them still being worked on. He said, going by this data, no government in the Fourth Republic can match the Akufo-Addo government's extensive venture in its first term in office.
It is the government's 8th policy and results fair since 2017. This is a forum by the various ministries to present to Ghanaians the projects and initiatives undertaken since the assumption of power. Due to COVID-19, the 8th edition was held with limited numbers, with thousands observing virtually. The 2020 forum was addressed by the Vice President, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, with particular attention on infrastructure projects in the last 3 years. Dr. Bawumia said data gathered by the government shows that every part of the country has enjoyed substantial infrastructure in the last 3.5 years.
Since 2017, we have initiated 17,334 infrastructure projects in this country. Of these, we have completed 8,746, and there's 8,588 ongoing. And you see them allocated from agriculture, education, infrastructure, energy, health infrastructure, housing, industrial infrastructure, market infrastructure, railway infrastructure, road safety and security, water and sanitation, youth and development.
Dr. Bawumia said all these projects are being undertaken with value for money in mind.
Cost of the Tema, Tamale, Pokwasi and Obechebi Lamte interchanges is $289 million. 4 interchanges. Together, $289 million. While the cost of the Kwame Nkrumah interchange was contracted at $260 million. I'll just leave that for you to ponder.
He said the government has developed an online portal that details all infrastructure development projects, which is evidence of work done by the government.
As the name implies, Delivery Tracker is a portal where you can track the status of delivery of government promises and also infrastructure projects. It will enhance transparency and accountability in governance. It will also enable government to monitor all infrastructure projects to ensure that uncompleted projects are prioritized in the process of capital budgeting.
To the Vice President, more must be done, but feats achieved so far demonstrates that government remains committed to its contracts with the people, which is why the government must be retained in power in the December polls to continue with the development projects.
Vice President Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia says the government is making strides with the One District, One Factory and One Village, One Dam initiatives. Dr. Bawumia said so far 28 new factories are standing, with 48 existing ones rehabilitated and operational. Under the One Village, One Dam initiative, 375 small earth dams have been constructed in the 5 regions of the north.
One District, One Factory and One Village, One Dam are 2 of the priority projects introduced by the NPP government in 2017. While the focus of the One District, One Factory is industrialization, the One Village, One Dam is to allow for year-round farming in the 5 regions of the north. And this is to support Ghana's quest to achieve food sufficiency. Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia says so far, 76 factories have been completed and are operational under the industrialization initiative.
Under the One District, One Factory program, 183 companies are currently benefiting from the One District, One Factory initiative. out of which 61 are existing companies. The 1D1F doesn't only deal with new companies. If you are an existing company and you need a capital injection to expand, you can benefit from the incentives of the 1D1F. So don't say that, oh, I know this company is already been in existence, so it cannot count. No, if it has come for support through the 1D1F, it will be counted. To date, 48 of the existing company projects have been completed and are operational. Of the 122 new companies, 28 are completed, whilst 31 are at various stages of completion.
Under the One Village, One Dam project, Dr. Baumia said 435 small earth dams have been rolled out of which 375 have been completed and in use by farmers in the respective villages in the 5 regions of the north.
Each small earth dam contains 30,000 cubic meters of water when full, and this is enough to survive a greater part of the average dry season in any year. When you hear some of our opponents saying that these dams cannot be used for irrigation, you wonder what they mean. Across the world and many regions in Ghana, farmers do irrigation using different systems. The amount of irrigable land the One Village, One Dam policy provides is over 12,000 hectares, which is almost equal to the total public irrigable land currently available in Ghana.
Dr. Baumia said the Palugu multipurpose dam will also help to transform agriculture in the country.
Upon the completion of the Palugu Dam, it will be the single largest public investment in irrigation since independence, and also the single largest infrastructure investment in the northern regions of Ghana since independence.
He said more than 7,000 hectares of land are under development for various irrigation systems in the 5 regions of the north.
As the policy and results fair, Dr. Baumia narrowed the lens on work down in the roads sector. He says one major challenge that confronted the NPP government when they took office in 2017 was the deplorable nature of the roads countrywide. But through effective management of the country's resources in the last 3 years, and in particular 2020, which is the year of roads, the government has achieved immeasurably in the roads and transportation sectors.
Dr. Baumia said 1,927 road projects were undertaken in the last 3 years. 1,307 of these have been completed, with 620 still ongoing across the country. He said the road construction work is evidenced in every district of the country.
If you look at the road projects, the road sector, we are implementing 1,927 road projects. We've completed 1,307 and 620 are ongoing. You look at bridges, you see that the Bailey steel and concrete bridges, we have 79 that we are constructing. We have completed 46 bridges, and you saw the ones in Garou and so on being shown in the video. We are also ongoing, 33 bridges are ongoing. 44 cocoa roads are ongoing, 216 feeder roads, completed 138. Footbridges, 135 are being constructed. We've completed 117 of footbridges.
He also spoke on government's efforts in the railway sector, which he says will transform the country's transportation system.
Major transformation is taking place in the railway sector. We've completed the rehabilitation of the Accra-Tema railway line, which is 30 kilometers, the Chimota in Sawam, another 33 kilometers, and the Kojokrom-Takwa, which is a 56 kilometer, and these are narrow gauge lines, and we have done that. We've begun the construction of a new standard gauge western line, which is Takoradi to Kumasi. Then we have a railway training school in Sekondi, which is complete, and this is going to be the basis for what we want to build, which is the Railway University in Sekondi. The Tema Mpakadan railway line is 97 kilometers, is ongoing, and approximately 56 kilometers of the track lane has been completed.
Dr. Bawumia also dwelt on some of the government's projects in the fisheries sector.
The Takoradi Port Expansion Project is progressing steadily. A multi-purpose container terminal commenced in 2019, and a dry bulk jetty is almost complete. The construction of the Jamestown Harbour has also started. And we are also constructing 10 fish landing sites: Axim, Dix Cove, Senyabreku, Gomoafete, Mori, Mamford, Teshi, Winneba, Elmina, and Kita. And these are all ongoing.
One area of concern that the Vice President, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, put a spotlight on was claims that the government has abandoned all ongoing projects under the previous administration. Dr. Bawumia mentioned a number of ventures inherited by the Akufo-Addo government. He said some had been completed, while others are still under construction in the health, education, and road sectors.
In addition to what we have done, that we have shown you in the data, in addition to that, we have also completed several health projects that we inherited from the previous government. Out of 30 infrastructure projects that we inherited from the previous government in the health sector, we have completed 16 of them, including 10 polyclinics, 2 district hospitals. There's also ongoing construction of another 9 district hospitals. So if you look at what we have completed, the polyclinic at BCRC, at Gomoa, Daurampong, Ekumfi, Noakwa, Biruwa, a polyclinic at Esi Sunkwa, Bimpong Eja, and then Gomoa as well, Jamera, Mankrong, Akomfodi, and all of these have been completed. We completed the ongoing upgrading of the Tamale Teaching Hospital. We completed the ongoing construction of the offices of the Ministry for Health and Regulatory Bodies. We completed the Ga East Municipal Hospital. When we came, it wasn't quite completed. We completed it. And so on. So we have the data to show very clearly, and therefore it cannot be the case that we abandon projects that we inherited. It's in our interest to complete them.
The news takes a short break. Please stay on.
While West District of the Upper West say they are feeling the impact of the coronavirus on their sales. The farmers say the price of watermelon per truck has dropped from 10,000 Ghana cedis last year to 5,000 Ghana cedis this year due to the coronavirus. My colleague Swala Abdul Wahab has visited Pala and Guse and has this report on the plight of the farmers and what may be done to ameliorate the problem.
Many farmers in Wa West District cultivate watermelon as a source of livelihood. But this year may go down in the history as one of the worst in their production years. Price per truck has gone down from 10,000 Ghana cedis last year to 5,000 Ghana cedis this year due to the coronavirus.
This is a 14-acre watermelon farm. I have harvested only 3 truckloads of watermelon this year. The rest, which is about 2 trucks, is going waste because there is no market. Last year, we sold a truck for 10,000 Ghana cedis. But this year, a truck is going for 5,000 cedis or less.
The market this year as compared to last year is very poor, very, very bad. It never went in the favor of the farmer because of this coronavirus. Last year, with the truck, we used to load it at a cost of 12,000 Ghana cedis. This year, you can get a truck at 5,500, 6,000 Ghana cedis, and some are even selling at 4,500 Ghana cedis.
Mr. Pujan Anzugri says he is not sure if he will get market for the rest of his produce on his farm.
This is suitable for consumption as we speak now, but in the next 1 week or 2, they will become like this. And that means the farmer is going to lose huge amount of money.
The Wa West District Directorate of Agriculture, however, says it is aware of the problem and is linking farmers to buyers in the south for better prices.
Because of this COVID issue, most market people have suspended their businesses. So people don't even come out to buy. We as MOFA are supposed to be linking them to the market source. And we have started doing it. We have identified the problem and we started doing that.
But an agribusiness consultant thinks government needs to improve on the road infrastructure and provide a factory to process the excess watermelon.
If you look at the road network to most farming communities, it is not in the best of shapes. So it doesn't allow for private sector and other people who may want to help the situation to come in. They may also have to improve on the concept of the one district, one factory. If such factories were there, it could also help by processing, what farmers have produced.
Developing the watermelon industry in Wa West District will enhance the income of the farmers and create more jobs for the youth who run to down south for similar or non-existing jobs. For GBC News, Swala Abdul Wahab, Pala.
A mere allegation of witchcraft, even if without evidence against especially the old, poor women, is enough to get an entire community to ostracize the accused. These alleged witches are sent to shrines that are constituted in such a way that they automatically confirm that the accused is guilty. In this report, Abdul Hai Momin visits the Kukwo witches camp and interacted with an 80-year-old alleged witch who has been abandoned by her community and children for 26 years now.
Weak, hungry, abandoned, neglected, sick, poor, and almost homeless. This has been the life of Hawabu in the last 26 years, since she was dumped here at this witch's camp after she was alleged of being a witch. In these parts of the country, all it takes for one to be accused of being a witch is for somebody to raise issues against you. These issues could range from having a dream and seeing that alleged witch in the dream doing something against people. We all have dreams, don't we? Beyond that, there are also the instances where persons who may be indebted to these women who are alleged to be witches later find themselves unable to pay off their debts. Then they accuse these women of being witches. Then there is the other aspect where people die and people look around for suspects, people who they believe may be responsible for the deaths of such persons, mostly without any evidence against these women. They accuse them of being witches. And after you are accused of being a witch, you are sent to a shrine which has no scientific basis of establishing your crime or otherwise, and yet you are asked to be isolated. And that's how come persons like Mahawabu here has been ostracized from the rest of society, and for the last 26 years she's been living in this dilapidated building, a building that leaks anytime it rains because it is made of thatch, and the building's foundation is being washed away gradually by rain. She hardly eats on a daily basis. As we speak, it's almost 3 p.m. and all that she has had is tea without milk. When she's lucky on a good day, her neighbors offer her some meals of beans that is not accompanied even with basic ingredients like gari. She is a mother to several children, yet since she's been abandoned here for the last 26 years, only one of her children has been here to visit her. And on that occasion, when that child visited, it wasn't to say hello to the mother, but to find out if she was living or dead. Now here is the bad news. The family has actually left their phone numbers that should she die, then they call to inform them of her death.
We made an attempt to call her on the number she had left behind, yet as many times as we tried, the number was off. The number is 0240 0224.
In addition to being neglected, many of the alleged witches, when they die, are not given befitting burials. They are literally thrown away, so to speak. Mahawabu here says her greatest wish is to have a home to live in before she passes on to her maker. She says one of her greatest desires is to see her children again, and more especially be able to hold her grandchildren and her great-grandchildren in her arms, a feeling she hasn't had ever since she was dumped here 26 years ago. She's calling on the larger society to come not only to her aid, but to the aid of the several innocent women who, through some dubious cultural practices, have ended up in camps like these, treated like non-entities. Abdulhai Mumin, GBC News, Kukuo.
The Ghana Police Hospital is to fumigate some of the hospital's departments from Friday, August 21 to Sunday, 23, 2020. This is part of a routine exercise.
The hospital says the outpatient department, laboratory, children's department and the hospital annex will not be fumigated. The hospital will resume full operation on Monday, August 24, 2020. You're watching News Hour live on GBC News. We're taking a short break. We'll be back with a business.
My name is Morris Ogbete. Got latest from the business space. The State Interest and Government and Governance Authorities to list some selected state-owned companies on the Ghana Stock Exchange. Although the Director General of the authority will not name the companies, Mr. Asamoah Boateng says a strategic document is to be presented to Cabinet in that regard. According to him, the move will improve efficiency while allowing Ghanaians to have a share of some state agencies.
A change in the name from the State Enterprises Commission to the State Interest and Governance Authority also came with a change in focus and the legal framework governing the operations of state-owned enterprises. SIGA seeks to address the issue of poor performance, weak governance structure, low returns to government, among others. Unlike the previous establishment, the authority has been given the power to punish non-performing boards and management of government-owned agencies.
Administrative penalties and sanctions, and it runs from removal of your bonuses or increases in your pay to even suspension of a CEO or complete removal from a CEO or even prosecution. It goes to that extent.
In a bid to strengthen state agencies and make them more efficient, SIGA says some enterprises will be listed on the Ghana Stock Exchange.
We're looking at some of them who are not just not performing, but they are performing. But we believe that we should create wealth in the system. And that is going to happen in some of the, I won't name them now because I'm here to present it to Cabinet, so permit me to hold them onto them now. But once it's ready, we'll share it with you so that people will begin to prepare and keep and save money and then buy into the stock market. We've already met the stock exchange officers here, and they are eager waiting for when we can name them and they can prepare them for sale.
The Director General of the authority, Mr. Asamoah Boateng, revealed that a draft document is to be presented to Cabinet for approval. Speaking in an interview with GBC News, Mr. Asamoah Boateng revealed the authority is also at the final stages of winning two state agencies, the Ghana Standards Authority and the Food and Drugs Authority, of government subvention.
Now we're looking at the Food and Drugs Authority as well as the Ghana Standards Authority. They were also on the road for winning off until COVID hit everybody. And when COVID hit, you need a backbone, you need a government backbone. So basically we've slowed down the process a bit. We're almost at the final stage, but they need government support. And hopefully when COVID is managed well, we believe that those two organizations and others who are interested, like the teaching hospitals. We've got the Tamale Teaching Hospital online who wants to win themselves up. Kolebu, the same thing.
Some 7 government enterprises severely hit by COVID-19 will be given a stimulus package.
And still in business, the National Executive Council of the GPRTU has with immediate effect dissolved the current National Executive Committee chaired by Mr. Kwame Nkrumah. The National Executive Council, the second highest decision-making body of the union, has thus appointed an interim management committee chaired by Bonafo Regional Chairman Mr. Ben Kusi. The next says Mr. Kwame Nkrumah's term of office has expired.
The National Executive Council of the GPRTU makes several allegations against the current chairman, Mr. Kwame Nkrumah. They say that the current national officers have overstayed their term of office.
The national officers do not respect the authority of NEC as spelled out in Article 5A and Article 9F. The national officers have subverted the constitution of the union by their inability to provide auditor reports for their tenure of office, reference Article 40A. The national officers had failed to organize a reunion for the conference and thus staying longer than their tenure and in violation of the oath of office as in Article 42 and in Article 13O without any obstacle. The national chairman lodges all monies belonging to the union in his personal account, regardless of Article 14A.
According to the Welfare Secretary of the Ashaman GPRTU, Mr. Samuel Amwa, Mr. Kwame Kuma is doing the bidding of government, neglecting the concerns of the ordinary driver.
We sent a petition that we were looking for 50% increment, okay? 50% increment. When there was COVID, the government gave us only 15, telling us that we should exercise patience, thinking that maybe they will consider our plea so that even the 15, they will add little to it. Before we realized, they went and signed that the 15%, 10 will be taken out from the 15%, and they gave us only 5%. That communique that I'm talking to you right now, Kwame Kuma was the only person who went and signed that communique without the consent of the NEC. But it shouldn't be like that.
Accordingly, the National Executive Council of the GPRTU has dissolved the National Executive Committee. In accordance to the constitution of the GPRTU, Mr. Ben Kusi, Mr. Godfred Abubiri, and Mr. Emmanuel Ni Ankra have been appointed to form an interim management committee pending elections on Monday, 25th August 2020. Unlocking the economic potential of Africans through trade is the driving force behind the Continental Free Trade Area, which is headquartered in Accra. The Industrial and Commercial Workers Union says it ties into its vision and will support it bolster intra-African trade from the current level of 15% to over 50% within the next 5 years.
Though yet to swing into action, the Industrial Commercial Workers Union is lacing its boots to jump into the tracks of the African Continental Free Trade Area to enable its members in the banking sector to provide the needed financial lifeline to bolster intra-African trade.
Banks might be willing then to support jobs that are related in the trade, in the intercontinental trade. As unions, our interest first and foremost is to ensure that it's a decent, trade that is coming. It's a trade that will respect the ILO conditions of decent work, and then beyond that, when workers find job is where the union finds its existence, and by extension we are going to have some additional membership into new areas where ordinarily those employers will not be having the facility that will enable them to expand. So we see expansion of businesses coming by this intercontinental trade.
Trade among the African member states is the lowest in the world on regional basis. The current level of trade is as low as 15% compared with that of Europe, which is about 70%. The ICU is habit that a surge in trade among African countries will lead to a bullish market for member states, including Ghana, signaling a possible turnaround for workers in the existing industries and those that will spring up later on.
This is opening door for some multinational company to move from one West African state to another. It is to our own benefit. It means that Ghanaians will not have the restrictions from saying that if I go to Cote d'Ivoire, I go to Nigeria, I go to Benin or Sierra Leone, I might not be able to find job. It's rather an open and added opportunity for us where the comparative advantage of the employer, takes the fall. Where we say comparative advantage, we are referring to things that they can commonly access with reasonable, cost than maybe coming over to come and do the business here in Ghana.
The kickoff date for the AFTA is January 2021. Edward Nyakun reporting for GBC News.
We go to the interbank forex market and get latest on how the local currency
In time for Energy News right here on GBC News. My name is Beatrice Senaju. Come September 21, 2020, the Ghana Broadcasting Corporation, GBC, will launch a national energy quiz program. This is to help educate the public about the energy sector. The Director General of GBC, Professor Amin Al-Hassan, disclosed this when he met with management of Ghana Atomic Energy Commission and GOIL in Accra.
The meeting was to update management of both institutions on GBC's energy news and the National Energy Quiz. Last year, 96 schools participated in the energy quiz, approximately 96,000 students. This year, it will be extended to 400 second cycle institutions with over 400,000 participants. At GOIL, the managing director, Mr. Kwame Osei-Prempeh, commended GBC for the initiative and pledged the company's support to see to the success of both programs. The Chief Operating Officer of GOIL, Mr. Alex Josiah Adziu, said as the market leader in the downstream sector, the company employs a huge number of engineers who bring their expertise to support the industry. He said the National Energy Quiz has come at an opportune time as GOIL has a 5% commercial interest in ExxonMobil exploration activity in Ghana.
We are a local indigenous company, and all that you see is the handiwork of the local engineer that we have in Goa. So it's become a platform. So whenever there's any innovative idea like you have proposed, especially with the energy quiz and what have you, we are very excited to be part of it.
Next was the Ghana Atomic Energy Commission, GAEC. The delegation from GBC spelled out the mission of their visit. The Director General of the Commission, Professor Benjamin Nyako, said one of the key challenges of the energy sector is inadequate public education. He said the collaboration with GBC is good news for the Commission.
You brought us very good news, which is one of the key issues that we are dealing with in the nuclear field, and that is public education. And mostly these things can be carried on to the public by the media.
The Director General of GBC, Professor Amin Al-Hassan, said the collaboration with GOIL and the Energy Commission will fit into the SDGs 7 and 13, which address affordable and clean energy.
You are the future of energy, we know, and we think we should be listening to you and we should collaborate. We need to mainstream energy thinking among Ghanaians. So the energy quiz is very timely, it's very good. Our news content must carry more about energy because we are not too familiar with the options, even though our scientific community have always been familiar with the options. And you are that the future of energy is here. So when we do anything energy, we should be coming along with you. We think at a certain point in time, we should be able to develop an energy policy summit. And this is where we really let those who make decisions understand that this facility here and the various institutes that encapsulate it really should be the area of focus.
GBC has reached out to NPA, GNPC, Asogli Power Plant, and the latest being GOIL and GAEC.
Over 180 young females have successfully completed a 2-week program organized by the Millennium Development Authority. The training is under the authority's Ghana Power Compact Internship and Mentoring Program. The program is funded by the United States government to equip young Ghanaian females with training, technical know-how, and practical skills to facilitate their recruitment into jobs in the energy sector. This is where we end the energy news right here on GBC News. My name is Beatrice Senaju.
News. My name is Gifty AJ. Now, an early intervention center for autism has opened at Dom in Accra. Non-profit organization Clicks Africa Foundation, the brain behind the center, says the idea is to give improved care for autistic children from birth to 5 years. Autism is said to be a developmental disorder because symptoms generally appear in the first 2 years of life.
More than a decade ago, Madame Mary Kufuor, founder of Clicks Africa, experienced life with an autistic child when her daughter was diagnosed with autism. It was a baffling and overwhelming time for her, and over time learned all she could about the disorder to ease her fear and confusion. She has therefore established her foundation to help other parents in a similar situation. Today, she has 47 autistic persons under her care, 32 children and 15 young adults. This necessitated the new edifice, which only a handful will be paying for, since needy but autistic kids are to benefit free of charge. Admission to the center is open to kids from birth to 5 years. It has 8 classrooms, a big hall to train caregivers, and a diagnostic management center. The Chief of Staff, Mrs. Frema Oseyopari, said government is committed to helping parents with autistic children either through partnerships or any other form. As a grandmother to an autistic child, Madame Frema Oseyopari called on all Ghanaians to show love and sympathy to them.
The government of Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo is committed to assist in whichever way possible through partnerships and joint operations with advocates, institutions, and service providers. Because government can do so much, but the society at large, people like Mr. and Mrs. Kufuor, this effort ought to be supported.
Madame Oseyopari also donated 50 chairs, 5 tables and playing mats and food items to the center. She also donated face masks, sanitizers, Veronica buckets, wipes and hand washing soap. Deputy Minister for Gender, Children and Social Protection, Ms. Frida Prempe, appealed for proper maintenance of the.
Now away from that story, 17-year-old Emmanuel Aka has been diagnosed with a benign swelling and needs 14,400 Ghana cedis for surgery to remove the growth and undergo a jaw reconstruction. Emmanuel and his mother, Mary Addison, are therefore appealing to the public for your support.
Emmanuel is a welding trainee but was forced to quit his apprenticeship because of his condition, which started 3 years ago. His mother says he's unable to eat, drink or speak. The family is appealing for 14,400 Ghana cedis to cover the cost of surgery, which includes the removal of the lesion and reconstruction to improve his facial profile. You can support Emmanuel's surgery by donating to mobile money number 059 26 955 86.